Hey everyone, this is Bulba Trainer and welcome back. This video has kind of a long introduction, so if you would like to skip all that and just get to the list, go to this timestamp. Though the introduction is kind of important, so don't complain later if you miss something. This video is the second in my Applied Pokology series, where I list 10 Pokemon that I think would be most useful in specific contexts. Last time, I theorized on the best Pokemon for a warrior to have. In this video, I'm going to dip my toes in the theme of last week's video by seeing which 10 Pokemon would be most useful to the clergy. That would be shamans, priestesses, priests, nuns, monks, and anyone else who devotes their life to the religious needs of their communities. This video is coming with a disclaimer that I would appreciate you paying attention to before the discussion begins. This video, and any time that I delve into the political, historical, or religious nature of Pokemon, is not meant to be offensive in any way. It is not my intention to mock or degrade any particular religion or religion in general. I myself have a faith that I take very seriously, and I do not think theorizing in this way is any more harmful than theorizing on the religious origins of Pokemon like Arceus, or wondering what religion might look like in the age of AI. Combining my interests allows me to bring something unique to the Pokemon community in a way that I hope people can enjoy. Now with that settled, I also want to talk about what this video was meant to accomplish, the particular reasons I chose or ignored certain Pokemon. I did not want Pokemon with general uses. Theoretically, nearly every Pokemon would be useful to nearly every profession and situation, if only by virtue of the fact that they are supernaturally strong or empowered creatures with a sense of loyalty to their trainers. I did not want Pokemon with their own religious origins or proto-religious beliefs for that reason alone. This is about Pokemon in our world, not religion in their world. That's another video. I did not want Pokemon with a passing relationship to religion either, such as saying that Egyptian polytheists worship Sekhmet, who is sometimes represented as a lion, so Pyroar must be important. I did want to have a spread of beliefs to try and make this list more universal, and as a way of showing similarities rather than differences. The Pokemon community includes agnostics, atheists, monotheists, polytheists, and everything in between. And the fact that we can all come together over our love of the franchise is something that makes me very proud to be part of it. I also wanted to include historical aspects and applications as well as more modern ones. With that said, let's go into my picks for 10 Pokemon useful to the clergy. Number 10, Munna. From Generation 1, Dream Eaters have been present in the Pokemon world. But it wasn't until Generation 5 that they started sounding less terrifying and more useful. In human history, dreams themselves have, likewise, been important for a long time. Many religions, both past and present, consider dreams to be a vitally important way for deities to contact people, and in some cases, the only way. Dreams have also been used as a diagnostic tool, and whether the belief holds that they're divinely inspired or not, many people past and present have claimed dreams to be prophetic. Before the assassination of Julius Caesar, for example, it is said that his wife Calpurnia, or sometimes even he himself, had dreams of blood and other bad omens. The arrival of a Buddha is said to be heralded by certain dreams, and several Old Testament Bible stories center around dreams. Dreams aren't only the realm of the sacred either. Many people believe their dreams to have important psychological clues to the inner workings of their minds, and attempts to understand why a particular thing may be dreamed of is still something rather common in the world. The problem is that dreams are difficult to recall in the first place, and since human memory is imperfect, there's no way to be sure that what you're recalling is accurate. That's where Munna comes in. I avoided Musharna since the second evolution can make dreams actually come to life, but Munna projects the dreams it has eaten, making recollection unnecessary. For thousands of years, religious professionals have interpreted people's dreams for them, and that's why I think this Pokemon would go well with the profession. Even for people who don't believe in a religious reason behind dreams, the ability for Munna to help someone else accurately record the findings would be of immense help. For those who do still believe their dreams may be communication from the divine, such an important message would want to be recorded properly, which, in the hands of a professional, Muna would be invaluable for. Number 9. Bronzong. Bells may make you think of the winter months because of sleigh bells, but for thousands of years, bells have actually held religious purpose. Before timepieces were widely available to the public, bells called the faithful to church and are still used in some branches of Christianity to signal transubstantiation. In ancient Rome, bells would be rung to scare away evil spirits and had uses in temple life as well. In Hinduism, entering a temple is usually preceded by ringing a bell, called a ganta, to alert the gods of your approach. A similar function happens in Shinto, where ringing a bell before your prayer is standard for this purpose and to help drive away bad spirits. Being a bell itself, Bronzong would be able to fulfill most of these duties. As a call to prayer, it would work in any situation where the blaring artificial sound of an alarm would be inappropriate. The sound would work at frightening any spirits that may be lingering around, and this Pokemon already has semi-religious lore to it, even though it wasn't the initial reason why I chose it. Bronzong is said to have been rung for rain, since it can learn rain dance, and there would still be use for such a function today. Think, for all our technology and modern comforts, we still can't control the weather. Not really. But a priestess of a small town could go to her Bronzong, ring it, and produce rain for the people of her village, which seems to be how this Pokemon was used in the past, and would still have use to this day. I live in New Mexico. Trust me, I know about the importance of rain. Number 8. Dusknoir. Yeah, this one's back. A couple of weeks ago I listed my favorite ghost-type Pokemon, and Dusknoir was at the number 1 spot. I mentioned that it more closely resembles a Psychopomp than a Grim Reaper, and that's exactly why it's here. A Psychopomp is a being that guides or collects a soul after death, and is seen as a guardian more than a bringer of death or someone to be feared. Death is an unfortunate reality of life, and nearly every culture and religion has ways of helping its followers cope with it. I'm not here to make a statement on the afterlife, but there is one present in nearly every faith throughout history, and even people without religious inclinations usually treat the subject with respectful solemnity. For those who believe one exists, ensuring that the soul is not lost, suffering, or wandering is very important, and can usually be influenced by the living through prayers or rituals. Everything that you know about Egyptian polytheism and mummies is related to this very practice, ensuring the soul would be able to thrive in the afterlife. Or the Toro Nagashi at the conclusion of the Obon festival in Japan guides the visiting spirits back to the spirit world so they don't get trapped here. This is actually featured in the episode Ghost of Maiden's Peak in the anime. Dusknoir would be invaluable for these rituals involving the dead. The mouth on its stomach opens to capture an errant soul and bring them back to the spirit world. But in this case, the spirit world is described as home and is seen as a good thing. A lot of rituals involving the dead are exactly for this sort of protection. Dusknoir would be used by a member of the clergy to ensure a grieving family that their loved one's soul isn't wandering around or lost, that it had reached the place it was meant to. It also receives transmissions from the same spirit world, which would make other, less reliable methods of communicating the dead take a back seat, providing more comfort to those same family members. Number 7. Meowth. Charity and giving to the poor is as ancient as language. Some religions place more of an emphasis on it than others, but the idea usually appears in 3 forms. From practitioner to practitioner, from practitioner to religious official, especially in the cases of ascetic monks and nuns, or from religious official to practitioner. In Islam, the zakat, which is an obligation to give a certain amount of income to charitable causes, is one of the 5 pillars and ranks in importance after prayer. In Buddhism, giving alms is one of the steps on the path to enlightenment. Frequently, though charity is from one person to another, This can take the form of a religious house giving from its own wealth or from donations of others to the needy. Meowth with the move Payday, which only its family can learn by leveling up, would help to supplement some of this. I don't know exactly how Payday works, and honestly it sounds like a theory for another time, but in the game the money is legit and gets folded in with the rest of your cash, meaning for our purposes it's the same as any other money. A temple or Des Rassad having a Meowth around would allow these institutions to continue to provide their charity, even if the money doesn't come from someone else. Meowth, with its propensity for nocturnal activity and shiny object gathering, could even allow nighttime worshippers to give to their religious place of choosing after operating hours, collecting coins from patrons to bring back to help the needy, which would then complete the circle of merit from giving. Number 6. Meditate. Meditation is something many people associate with only one or two religions, but contemplation is common in many throughout history and even into the secular world. The method differs from individual to individual, but if you've ever seen the whirling dervishes of Sufi Islam, or seen someone praying with prayer beads, even outside of Catholicism, that's a form of meditation. If you go to a quiet place in your house and concentrate on your breathing just to take charge of your own body for 5 minutes, that's meditation. It doesn't always come with special postures or faiths. It's present in many aspects of human life and culture. The misconceptions about why or how people meditate is one of the things that turns others off to it, though, and that's where this Pokemon comes in. I know this list is about religious uses of Pokemon, and there's certainly the application for that, but I think this would be one of those activities that occasionally anyone would be allowed to join in on. Meditate is said to meditate for hours a day and has gained the ability to levitate because of it. Frequently guided meditation is practiced in a room with others and a teacher to help, the actual guiding. And why couldn't that be meditate and a religious official? Someone who has learned enough about the Pokemon to translate, but still taking a back seat to someone with greater skill in calming the mind. I cannot guarantee that you'd be levitating by the end of it, but it would certainly be an experience for people for whom meditation is indeed a spiritual practice. Number 5. Milk Tank. Almsgiving is sometimes done with money. However, it's also done with food. In ancient Rome, the cura annoni was a grain dole provided to the poorest of Rome's citizens that functioned the way proposed basic income ideas would today, and was done in honor of the goddess Annona. The Langar is a Sikh tradition where anyone of any background can come and get a free meal provided by volunteers. And, as a bonus, the meal is usually vegetarian, so ethical compromises don't need to be made for those who abstain from meat. Milk Tank produce milk, which is highly nutritious, and seeing as no other Pokemon can consistently provide such a service, and due to its docile nature, Whitney's excluded, this Pokemon is perfect for the priest who provides food to their community. Supplementing other food donations, Milk Tank would ensure that nearly everyone who visits gets what they need, nutritionally speaking, and like the Langar, is vegetarian to be more inclusive. Number 4. Tauros. In relation to the last entry, to help produce an income, either directly or by leasing it out, many historical religious officials owned land. This was sometimes controversial, to say the least, but even into the modern day, some churches and temples may hold land parcels of varying sizes with which to farm or cultivate a garden. From monks and nuns who grow their own food or find merit in the labor, to providing an income either through direct sale of produce or leasing the land to others, or by growing the food that is given out to the hungry. For most of these, the land needs to be worked, and this is often achieved with the clergy, especially in monastic contexts, which is where Milk Tank's brother comes in. Tauros from the Alola region are calm enough to be trained to carry people, so they could also be trained to help pull plows or carts or even for travel. With the help of the Pokemon, more food can be produced for the same amount of work, meaning that there might be some potatoes and bread with that milk given out to the hungry. Number 3, Arcanine. So, I said I didn't want generalized uses or Pokemon merely resembling sacred sources, but in this case, since it's both, I'm making an exception. While it is true that a community will sometimes respect its own religious traditions, that is not always the case. Indifference or desperation can and has caused violence to be used against religious officials and buildings throughout history. The reasons why would need to be their own video on a separate channel, but it suffices to say that no religious title has ever provided absolute protection to the bearer, and no one, clergy or otherwise, can turn down the protection of a loyal Pokemon. Based on the guardian lions present from Cambodia to Vietnam, Arcanine is also known for its majesty, loyalty, and strength. It's present in enough legends to be the legendary Pokemon, despite not actually belonging to the group. It's the ideal Pokemon to have by your side if you should encounter someone dangerous, or even just to deter such dangerous people. Arcanine would easily be the choice of many priests and monastics for company, warmth, and protection. Number 2, Xatu. Divination has been a staple of religious practice for as long as humans have been, humans. The oldest Chinese writings we have are on oracle bones. Tezcatlipoca and his followers use obsidian mirrors. You can still pick up omikuji in Japanese shrines and temples, and is even a force in the secular world where games like Ouija exist, with their own local legends and lores, or astrology, widely consulted. The term that's more popular today is fortune-telling, as the seriousness and importance of divination is far less than it used to be, and is mainly used for personal enjoyment rather than the deciding factor in going to war or starting a building project, which it absolutely used to be. Xatu are the Pokemon that I see fitting this role best, and this is mainly because of the episode Xatu the Future, where a flock of Xatu provide weather predictions for a town. Their Pokédex entries say that whatever they see in the future paralyzes them, but I'm wary of Pokédex entries, and like the idea of visiting a temple where part of the experience is Xatu waving a fortune at you with semaphore. I think it would be something that any member of the clergy would enjoy having, as long as the lesson of that episode is preserved, people don't rely on it too much, and people don't take it too seriously. Number 1, Grotle. Many, though not all religions, place importance on purity in sacred places. It's not always meant to be a literal interpretation, but rather a symbolic one. Death, blood, and even day-to-day life can make someone symbolically dirty, and that needs to be removed before prayer or sacrifice. Traditionally, this is done with water, like the chozuya in Shinto, ritual hand-washing in Roman polytheism, or the mikvah in Judaism. The type of water isn't always important, but when it is, it usually needs to be spring water. The importance of spring water has somewhat carried over to the secular world, which enjoys it for supposedly the same purifying reasons. Grotle possesses the ability to seek out spring water. Imagine how useful that would be to a priestess venturing out to start her first temple. The fact that it grows food that the other Pokemon can eat in the meantime is a bonus, but primarily as a dowser for water, this Pokemon would be invaluable to many religions. And there we conclude the second portion of Applied Pokology. I hope this video was informative or helpful, or at least interesting to watch. If you have your own ideas on which Pokemon might be more impactful in this area, share them below so we can compare. If this video was any of the above, please leave a like and consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future content. Next week I'll have another theory, but I also have a project I'm working on that I talked about on Twitter, which you can find hereabouts. Whenever that project is finished, I'll upload it as a bonus video that week, so if you subscribe, you should also hit the bell so you don't miss out on one or both of the videos that week. Thank you all so much. I'll see you next time, and stay safe.